Now, in the meantime, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has disqualified Olusola Ebiseni as the Labour Party's candidate for the 16 November 2024 Ondo State governorship election. A three-judge panel unanimously ruled in favor of an appeal brought by the Labour Party, overturning a previous Federal High Court decision that recognized Ebiseni and Ezekiel Awude as the party's candidate. Justice Hamma Barka, delivering the lead judgment, confirmed the disqualification. This follows a ruling by Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, who had upheld the validity of the Labour Party's second primary election, which had previously nominated Ebiseni and Awude. To discuss this, we're now joined by Monday Mawah, a legal practitioner and a member of the Labour Party. Hello, Monday. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Good to be again.
All right. I would like to ask, what were the primary legal arguments that were made by the Labour Party that led the Court of Appeal to disqualify Olusola as its candidate?
Well, I think if you have been following what has been happening in Ondo carefully, I actually expected what happened yesterday, long time ago, that it will happen. And the reason is so simple. This boils down to where some of us that we've been clamoring for all along, that the right thing should be done in Labour Party. We are all stakeholders in Labour Party. Now, the primary election was conducted in Ondo State by the Abuja-led faction of the Labour Party. And then I think that primary produced Mr. Olufemi rather, beg your pardon, and his candidate, and then he also picked a running mate. Their name were submitted to INEC. Now, along the line, from nowhere, the critical committee led by Comrade Owaba came up with another name and said, oh, they have done substitution. Unfortunately, Section 31 of the Electoral Act is clear on issue of substitution. And the section provides thus that for a party a party that the candidate that had already been nominated by a political party, for him to be substituted, the candidate by himself must write a letter in his own handwriting, signed by him, and submitted to the chairman of this party that nominated him. And then the party itself will take that letter and take it to the Independent National Electoral Commission, and then before they can do substitution, not later than 14 days of the happening event, and that is the provision of Section 33 of the Electoral Act. Unfortunately, if you have those documents, they purportedly said Mr. Olufemi signed, you will see that the letter, they call it letter of voluntary withdrawal as governorship candidate of Ondo, it was typed, my sister. Not written by Olufemi by himself. It was typed. And then if you look at where he was supposed to sign, they put a sign of his name or something. That in itself offends the provision of Section 31 of the Electoral Act, because that letter was not written in the handwriting of Mr. Olufemi and was never submitted personally by him to the National Chairman of Labour Party. So the Court of Appeal in the holding yesterday said that there is no proper evidence that the man who was purportedly substituted actually signed a letter by himself withdrawing for another candidate whom they purportedly substituted. I think that was the judgment of the Court of Appeal yesterday. And to me, as painful as it is, that is the correct position of law. That is the law.
Okay,
so you can't just, yes.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how does this Court of Appeals decision impact the Labour Party's strategy and the preparation for the November 16, 2024 governorship election in Ondo State?
It's going to affect us negatively. The reason is this. As it stands now, election is just a few days, it's on Saturday from here, that is 3 days away. So the day is Thursday, Thursday is already gone, let's say 2 days away. And the people are now getting to know again now that, oh, it's no longer the candidate they were talking about before, that is now Olufemi, who they initially knew was supposed to be the candidate. Now, within the period of 3 days to election, we are now going to be trying to sell to the election, the voters of Ondo State to say, well, Olorunfemi that we were thinking had been removed before is now the candidate. That is a confusion in itself that we have created just because some persons just want to have their way at all costs, notwithstanding the provision of the law. So it's unfortunate. It's going to affect our party and the chances of our party in Ondo State negatively. We must not deceive ourselves.
So at this moment, who is the candidate of the Labour Party? Just so we're clear.
By virtue of the judgment of the Court of Appeal yesterday, which is now the succeeding judgment until set aside, Olorunfemi is the candidate of Labour Party for Ondo State. His name is Ayodele Olorunfemi Festus, is the candidate of the Labour Party for the gubernatorial election in Ondo State coming up on the 16th of this month.
All right, Monday Mawah, legal practitioner, thank you so much for joining us and discussing this with us.
Thank you for having me.